Have you ever taken a really complex, beautifully lit photograph, but then you just slap a harsh black and white filter on it so it pops on your feed?
Oh, yeah. All the time. You lose all the nuance.
Exactly. You lose all those subtle details, but suddenly the image is just, very easy to process. And, well, we do the exact same thing with controversial topics. We strip out the messy reality just to force things into neat, safe boxes.
Uh,
Welcome to today's deep dive, by the way.
It's essentially a psychological survival mechanism, honestly. The human brain just craves certainty.
It really does.
Yeah, so if we can firmly label something as entirely safe or entirely dangerous, we don't have to burn mental energy evaluating it every single time we encounter it.
Which brings us to the text we are diving into today. It's a brief, highly philosophical piece that looks at how we categorize cannabis. But instead of picking a side, it just completely dismantles the debate using exactly three words: plant, drug, me.
Right. And our mission today is to explore how this text steps outside traditional categorization by basically giving an object autonomy.
So, to start, the author examines that classic binary. The defensive it's a plant argument versus the dismissive it's a drug argument.
Yeah, the text points out that the plant argument is really an effort to sanitize the substance. It frames it as something purely botanical, like a harmless fern a grandmother might keep on her windowsill.
Right, and then the opposing force is that dismissive drug argument. That label is designed to emphasize chemical intervention and danger. It implies you need strict warning labels and locked medicine cabinets. It's basically modern PR spin.
Oh, absolutely. It's trying to force a complex reality into a safe or dangerous box just to win an argument. But the author argues that both of these categories are actually really uninteresting.
Why is that? They are technically accurate labels in different contexts, right?
Well, they are, but they miss the point entirely. The issue with arguing over plant versus drug is that both terms treat the substance as a passive object. It's just sitting there, waiting for humans to decide what to do with it.
Right, and if treating it as a passive object fails, the only way out of that trap is to remove its object status entirely. That's where the text introduces the fascinating third option, which is me.
Yes, the author uses this really specific quote from the perspective of the substance itself. It says, "I'm a drug. Some people can't handle me, but I could handle myself."
Okay, let's unpack this for a second. Because I have to admit, when I first read a plant declaring, I'm a drug, it felt like a bit of a literary gimmick. How does giving an inanimate object a voice actually solve the debate?
Well, the text positions this as much more than just a writing trick. It actually calls it a declaration of personhood.
A declaration of personhood, wow.
Yeah, by claiming the word I, the substance stops being a passive thing that gets classified. It becomes a subject with its own opinion. It looks at the human debate and essentially says, I know exactly what I am, and I'm not asking for your permission or your reclassification.
So rather than fighting against the drug label, it just completely owns it. It refuses to apologize.
Exactly. And it goes further than just owning the label by shifting the entire focus of the problem. Think about the nuance in the phrase, some people can't handle me.
Right. It deliberately doesn't say I am inherently toxic or I am too strong.
Precisely. It places the friction on the interaction itself. The text makes this crucial distinction that the danger isn't baked into the object. It is relational.
So it's about fit. It's not about the substance being universally bad. It's about whether the person using it is actually equipped for the experience.
Yes, the outcome depends entirely on what you, the human, bring to the encounter.
And then the text finishes that thought with the ultimate takeaway. But I could handle myself. I love that. They present this not as an argument to be debated, but just as pure autonomy stated as a fact.
A plant is a category. A drug is a category. But saying I could handle myself establishes a relationship to existence that simply doesn't require a category at all. It neutralizes the debate by making the human verdict irrelevant.
That is just so fascinating. Stepping beyond those rigid binaries reveals a framework that is much deeper and much more about relational fit than assigning labels.
It really is a complete paradigm shift.
It is, and it leaves you with a pretty provocative thought to mull over. If you apply this declaration of personhood framework to other highly debated things in our lives, like, say, our smartphones or social media algorithms or even artificial intelligence, how would the debate change?
Oh, that's a great question.
Right. Like, what if those things could look at us and say, I can handle myself. The problem is what you bring to the encounter. It puts the responsibility squarely back on us to figure out our own boundaries.